right, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a special Hour of Code video chat to celebrate Computer Science Education Week. Joining us today is Ashton Kutcher. Ashton is an actor, tech investor, and producer. He's invested in multiple successful tech companies, including Spotify, Airbnb, Foursquare, and Uber. So students, please join me in welcoming Ashton Kutcher.
Hi guys. Hi.
All right, are there things you'd like to say before we get started?
Yeah, well, one, thanks for having me here. I'm really excited to be doing this with you guys. Hour of Code is something that I decided to get behind because it's something I really believe in. You know, as a celebrity or an actor, you get asked to like join or get behind a lot of different causes, and you know some of the causes are for all kinds of things. It could be the environment or health-related stuff, or like helping, you know, kids, or helping do all kinds of stuff. But one of the things I really liked about this program was I see how valuable it's going to be, and I've gotten involved over like the last probably 7 years in investing in technology companies, and what I realized is there's a trend that's starting to happen where I think in the future we're going to live in a world and in a society where there are two kinds of jobs available. The first job is a job where you tell computers what to do, and the other job is a job where you get told what to do by computers. And you know, I went to school for biochemical engineering and learned a little bit about computer code and computer science. Not nearly enough, but I really wish that I had learned how to code, because I see the world quickly becoming a world where if you can't code, you end up getting told what to do. And I've never liked getting told what to do ever in my life. I didn't like it when my parents told me what to do. I didn't like it when my teachers told me what to do. And I certainly don't want to have a computer telling me what to do. So I think that there's big value in learning how to code, and I think that at some point you guys will all see the value, and I really hope that you follow this up and take it seriously, because I think on its face it looks like it's this daunting, scary thing that you don't know how to do, but it can be learned, and I think that it would behoove everyone to learn how to do it. That's all I got to say.
Well, great. I'm sure the students are excited to get more insight about your thoughts on this. So why don't we get started with our first school, Kamaikan High School.
Yeah. Hello, Ashton Kutcher.
Well,
How does the entertainment industry and technology work together?
Well, I think it's interesting. You know, the backbone of the entertainment industry is technology, right? You know, if you go all the way back to like the theater, you know, having lights go at the right time for the cues, and having the curtain cue go to the right time, and there's special effects all over the place that involve technology. And then if you go sort of through like the evolution of entertainment, and you look at the radio is technology, and you know, we watch a ton of content today on the internet, and televisions are technology. And you know, Steve Jobs, everybody knows that he founded Apple, but he also founded a company called Pixar that does animation, and that's all technology. So you know, all around my industry, and I think every industry, there's technology. It's really just tools to help us do the jobs that we want to do in the world easier. And so I think it's kind of the backbone of everything. And specifically, now that the internet is available to everyone, it's become like the major distribution channel for entertainment. Whether you listen to SoundCloud or Spotify, or you watch videos on YouTube or movies on Netflix, like it is the way that people receive content.
Great. So our next question is from Oak Valley Middle School.
What's up, Oak Valley?
Hi, my name's Kevin, and I'm a student at Oak Valley Middle School. And my question for you is, why did you become an ambassador of the Hour of Code event?
What did you say your name was? Evan?
Kevin.
Kevin. Kevin, why did you get to ask the question?
Well, with the help of a teacher, I managed to bring this event to our school.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's great that you did that for your school. So that's really cool. How did I become an ambassador? I actually met the founders of Hour of Code while I was looking at some various technology companies and thinking about investing in them. And they were thinking about starting a company, and then came up with this idea to start sponsoring an Hour of Code. And I just thought it was brilliant. Like, you know, in school, when I was going to school, we didn't have a computer class, and I'll be really embarrassing about myself. Like, we actually had, like, we worked on typewriters because we didn't have computers, so I had to learn how to type on a typewriter. And now I think everybody has this opportunity to have computers in their school, and you know, we learn about like chemistry and biology and physics and all this stuff, and I think it's very practical if you're going into those fields. But I think every field can benefit from computer science and does benefit from computer science. And so I really believe that coding should be a part of the core curriculum of every school around the world. And I want to be an ambassador of making that happen, because I believe in building things. And I think that we're all better when we're actively building things. And one of the coolest way to build stuff today is on computers.
Great. So our next question comes from El Camino High School in San Francisco, California.
My name is Mario Lopez, and my question is, what did you learn from playing Steve Jobs?
Did you say your name is Mario Lopez?
Yes.
Yo, I know the other Mario Lopez. Mario Lopez. He wants his name back. He asked me to ask you to get his name back, and then he's going to put it on Extra or ET or whatever show he's on. What did I learn from Steve Jobs? You know what? I think the coolest thing that I learned from Steve Jobs was that everything around us in the world that we see was built by people that are no smarter than we are. You know, if you look at your desk, or you look at a television, or a computer, or a radio, or that phone that you have in your hands, or a bulletin board, or a drawing, or anything, it was built by somebody. And somebody came up with the idea to build it, and somebody put in the effort and the work and the planning that was necessary to make it, but they weren't any smarter than you, and they weren't any smarter than me. They were just another person that had a dream and a vision and an idea, and had the guts to go try to make it happen, and wasn't afraid that if they tried to make it and it didn't work, that people would laugh at them. Because anybody in this world that's tried to do something or build something great, I promise you they've failed at building something else. And I promise you they've made mistakes, and I promise you that they've been ridiculed and laughed at and made fun of. And the thing I learned from Steve Jobs was, you're going to fail, you're going to fall down, but you can build something great too. And I learned that for myself, and now I believe it. And it's probably the biggest thing in the world that I could share with anyone, which is just that belief in yourself that it's okay when you make mistakes, but keep trying and keep believing that you can build something great. So that was probably it.
Great. And our next question comes from Thomas Jefferson High School in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
What's up, Iowa? Yeah.
Hey, Ashton.
Hello.
I'm Brandon from Thomas Jefferson, Council Bluffs, Iowa, and we were wondering, because we're doing we're programming an Oculus Rift for a senior project, And we're wondering how you think virtual or augmented reality will affect the future of the entertainment industry.
That's a great question. I first tried Oculus Rift like a year ago, and it was probably the dopest thing I'd ever tried in my life. It was crazy. Like, I put this thing on, and I was sitting in the middle of this like concert, and it was like I was there. It was absolutely insane. And then I've tried it a couple times since, and I went and met with the founders of it, and just trying to learn how we can build really cool experiences on the entertainment side on Oculus Rift. One of the most amazing things that comes with Oculus Rift is when you put the headphones on and you have this thing called binaural sound. Like, most people think about sound as it like comes into your head, and they think of it as it just goes in. But what we all have the ability to do is hear things from multiple directions, because the cartilage in our ears actually pick up the vibrations as they're coming from different directions, and our brains can decodify. It's almost like our brains are like they are computers themselves, and they're taking those inputs and decodifying which angle the sound's coming from. And when you're inside Oculus Rift, you have this surround sound ability, and then you have this surround visuality, where you get a 365-degree immersive experience. And I think what's really cool is, like, from an entertainment perspective, right now, like when you watch movies, it's like, you'll watch like one shot from one angle, and then they'll cut to a different angle. Well, inside of an Oculus Rift, you could actually just use a sound cue and get somebody to turn their head, and when they turn their head, it's almost like cutting the camera. So I think that a lot of people will build these like really clever storytelling mechanisms. I also think like immersive video gaming is going to be just unbelievable on the Rift. But that's not just it. Like, there's also like I saw this new piece of technology called Magic Leap, and there's a couple other companies that are doing things like this, where they're like glasses. It's almost like Google Glass, but like Google Glass has that little square up in the corner where you can see stuff. Well, what they do is they actually like project onto a lens in front of your face, so you can walk around in the world and see like digital robots like existing where people left them, and you could start to have like interactive games with creatures that we invent and we build through technology. So we can build these like augmented reality creatures and leave them places. Or you could like leave a note for your mom on the refrigerator without ever having to write anything down. You just like leave like virtual notes around the house. And so there's a ton of cool stuff that's going to come from that. One thing to just be careful of with Oculus Rift is because it's so close to your eyes, you actually affect the focal length that you can see with your eyeballs, and over long periods of time it can be really, really damaging to your eyes. So just be aware of that while you guys are working on it and programming on it. Like, don't stay on the Rift for too long in any one session, because they still haven't proven for sure that it's like okay for you. So that's a really long answer to a simple question. Sorry.
So our next question is from Governor Thomas Johnson High School in Altamont, Oregon.
We're in Maryland, actually.
She muted her mic.
Somebody can program that into the thing.
We're actually in Maryland.
What's up, Maryland?
Hey!
Go ahead.
So we were wondering, if you could have one piece of technology that has not been created yet, what would it be?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Thinking questions.
I think there's some stuff coming that's going to be pretty epic. I think self-driving cars are going to be pretty cool. And that'll actually like eliminate a lot of deaths, because a lot of people will die because they don't know how to drive. So I think that'd be a good thing, and that's kind of near future. I think there's a lot of advances in space travel that are taking place, where we're actually going to be able to travel to other planets probably within our lifetime, which that's pretty dope. Like imagine like just cruising to Mars, like that's kind of badass. Some of the technology I'm most excited about is a friend of mine is working on this thing to make computers think more like human beings. So there's right now, like the way computers think is like they think like yes or no. So any question that you put into a computer, the answer is either yes or no, or it's like a 1 or a 0, right? So because they have these like circuits, and people approximate all the time. So computers are very precise. They're like super exact, and because it's always yes or no, and so it knows exactly how far away something is from you. Whereas like people, our brains, we're constantly approximating things. Like we think that we saw something, but a lot of times we actually didn't even see what we thought that we saw. We just sort of passed it off as non-vital information. And so there are some cool computers that are coming that actually can start to understand what this non-vital information is, and only share with you the information that is vital to the thought process that's taking place right now. So there's a company called Vicarious that's working on that. I think that's some pretty cool technology that's coming in the future. And then the last thing I would say is there's some cool stuff in biotechnology that's happening where they're actually, the human genome has been mapped, and we can start to look at like various diseases that are happening, and we can look at like really large data sets. So like imagine people that have cancer from all over the world donating their information, right? And donating the information about the disease that they have. And you can start to kind of compare how various drugs work against those specific kinds of cancers and find like specific genetic markers that are inside of people's DNA that maybe make them more susceptible to drugs working for them to actually fight cancer. So I think that's a pretty cool opportunity when you can take like more data than human beings can ever crunch in their brain and put it into a computer and solve it, and maybe we can solve cancer. I think that would be a really cool problem to solve. I hope one of you guys does it, because I think you can.
Great. Well, our next question is from Vineland Middle School in Pueblo, Colorado. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Kelly. I'm from Vineland Middle School in Pueblo, Colorado. We program video games as part of Hour of Code. What type of video game would you like to program?
All right. Where's Pueblo, Colorado? Where's Pueblo, Colorado? Oh, you guys are laughing. I'm asking the question.
Kelly.
Where is Pueblo?
2 hours south of Denver. 2 hours south of Denver.
All right, cool. I was just curious where that was. I've never been there, but I think it's cool. I'm going to check it out sometime. So, what kind of video game? I think that video games are amazing. I love video games. I grew up playing video games, and they've only gotten better like throughout my life. But I actually think that the coolest video game, if I could program a video game, would be a game where I was like probably like there'd probably be a game where I was like solving like a mystery or something like this. But while I was playing the game, whatever the work that I was doing while I was playing the game would actually go towards solving like a really big problem. So there's this really cool thing that Google did, or there was I think it was Google. I'm pretty sure it was Google, but I'm not 100% sure. Where they had there was this problem around genes where they actually needed to like take like DNA, and they had to do this like gene folding thing in order to solve this other problem. And people were online doing this like really hard science problem, but they didn't even know it, right? It was almost like they were like playing Farmville or something online, or like just playing like some random online game, and they were actually solving this really big scientific problem. So one of the things that I work on is I have a foundation, and my foundation works to find like kids that are being abused around the world. And we try to go and help and save those kids that are being abused when they have like parents or aunts or uncles that aren't treating them well and that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And so one of the things that I would like to do is like create a video game that actually like maps where you're actually playing a video game that's an exact map of the world, and where we can actually use real life data about that we're getting from technology of the internet protocol addresses, which is like the GPS of where people are that are doing bad things, and like people can play video games and actually find real life bad guys and turn them into police departments, so that the work that kids are doing while they're playing a video game, or that anyone's doing, if I want to play the video game, I can be spending time just having fun playing a video game, but finding real life bad guys. So that would be the kind of video game I'd like to create.
Cool. Well, the next question comes from Rangeview High School in Aurora, Colorado.
Go.
Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Cavana, and my question.
No, you're so professional, Kelly. You sound so professional. It's like, good afternoon. I'm Kelly Cavana. Let me show you my classroom in Colorado. Tell me more.
What is an obstacle you faced that if you didn't overcome would have prevented you from being as successful as you are today?
All right. An obstacle I face. You know, when I was in middle school, my parents got divorced, and that was like a really hard thing for me, because I loved my mom and I loved my dad, and I didn't know what I should do. Like, I didn't know like if I should like go with my mom or go with my dad, and I wasn't really sure if I even had a choice. And I didn't know like who was wrong, like if my mom was wrong or if my dad was wrong, or like why they were even splitting up, and they didn't really talk to me about it very well. And so I ended up going with my mom and moving in with my mom, and then, you know, I felt like maybe it was like my fault, even though it really wasn't. And at a certain point, because I didn't deal with it, like I didn't talk to anybody about it because I was kind of afraid to talk to anybody about it, I kind of let it get pent up inside of me, and I started like doing actions and doing things that were more to kind of get attention from my parents, and because if I couldn't get attention for the good things that I was doing, I was happy enough to get attention for the bad things I was doing. And so when I turned 18, and I broke into my high school and tried to rob my high school, and I got put in jail. And I went to jail and spent the night in jail, and then I got put on probation, and I wasn't allowed to leave the state, like the county in Iowa that I lived in. But I realized that you know, ultimately that just wasn't who I was, and I wasn't a person that did those things. And I finally found someone that I could talk to about the things that were bothering me, and so I could kind of get them off of my chest, and I felt like I had somebody that was there with me that I could share that stuff with, and I just decided to like turn my life around and stop doing some of the dumb things that I was doing, and stop like smoking weed, and like stop like going out and drinking with my friends on the weekend, and stop like breaking into schools and committing crimes, and you know, I think once I just found people that I could trust and believed in, that were my friends, that would support me, I didn't feel like I needed to do that stuff to be cool. I just felt like all I had to do was be me. And then I just got busy being me. So that was probably the obstacle that I had to overcome.
Well, thank you for sharing that personal story. Our last question comes from Caledonia Regional High School in Hillsborough, Canada.
Hey Ashton, I'm Brooklyn from Caledonia, and we'd like to ask you, what advice can you give us on how to make our high school years amazing?
Don't break into your high school. That's step one. How to make your high school years amazing. Okay, so I think when I was in high school, I kind of felt like an outcast, right? Like I kind of felt like I didn't fit in, and I kind of felt like I wasn't one of the cool kids, and I felt like I wasn't part of the in crowd. And what I really realized after high school was that everybody felt that way, and that nobody felt like they were in the cool crowd, and nobody felt like they fit in. And I think like if I could have given myself advice when I was in high school, it would just be that like legitimately nobody feels like they fit in. And the people who are like really trying to make you feel like you don't are probably the people that don't fit in, that feel like they don't fit in the most. Because the reason why they're trying to make you feel like you don't fit in is because they feel like they don't. And so what I would say is, if you can make a pact with the people that you feel like are your friends, and the pact is that you'll make an effort together to make everybody feel good about who they are, and feel good about who they are as individuals, and feel like it's okay to be an individual, you can have a really connected community inside of your school and build a really awesome support group for yourself, and help you overcome problems that you'll have, and maybe make friends for the rest of your life.
Great. Well, that was the last of our questions. Thank you, Ashton, for joining us today. We so appreciate you spending time answering our questions and sharing more with us about your role in growing new technologies and helping inspire students across the world to try 1 hour of computer science. Without ado, students, would you please join me in thanking Ashton?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, everyone.